Very good morning to everybody on the line. Thank you for joining today. I am Ian McCluskey, Product Manager here at OutBack Power. If you don't mind, please write into the questions if you can hear me all right. Great. All right. I got an answer there. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everybody. So we still have a couple minutes here. I'll let folks join for the next couple minutes. Today we'll be talking about UL 9540, which is sort of the short name for a standard that's actually an international standard from the International Residential Code. So we typically refer to it in shorthand as UL 9540, but we'll go a little bit into the history of this standard and how OutBack Power is preparing for it and the solutions that we have already. Just give everybody about 60 more seconds to join. We still have attendees coming in, so I want to give everybody a chance to catch the beginning. And we still have folks coming in here today. So it is now 11 a.m. Pacific, and we'll go ahead and get started. Like to be on time, especially late in the week. Everybody has projects to wrap up, so we'll go ahead and get started. So, ANSI, Canada, UL 9540 2016. 2016 is the latest iteration of the 9540 requirements. We do expect a new iteration to be coming out in 2020. It is not complete yet. We've been in conversation with UL for some months in regards to that new draft, and we're preparing for it as well. But as of right now, UL 9540 2016 is the de facto standard and will continue to be the standard until the new draft is released and then fully adopted. Folks on the line, I had somebody ask if we can see my screen. Can everybody on the line see my screen? Okay, all right. Okay, great. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. So we didn't miss anything, fortunately. So topic today is 9540. We're going to break it down into a few different pieces. Why UL 9540, the current status, and OutBack solutions for UL 9540. So what is a UL 9540 certified system? UL 9540 is the standard for, and this is, quote unquote, home energy storage systems. And it's broken down into home energy storage equipment, which can be certified together as a system. It's sort of similar to NEC 690, where you have PV rapid shutdown equipment. When tested together, becomes a PV rapid shutdown system. So that's comprised of a UL 1973 certified stationary battery pack, which contains batteries, of course, and a UL 1741 certified inverter. As of right now, that battery pack, UL 1973 defines, or it basically accepts 1989 batteries, which are typically lithium-ion batteries. So you have a 1989 battery inside a 1973 battery pack with a UL 1741 SA certified inverter. and when tested together with rigorous thermal and electrical testing, which OutBack has undergone recently in 2019, the UL listed components are then certified as a UL 9540 system, home energy storage system. So why UL 9540? Why does OutBack support UL 9540? The main reason is it provides complete peace of mind for customers, and by customers I mean end users, right? Property owners, homeowners that are purchasing the home energy storage system. We want to make sure that they have complete peace of mind and that the results do not vary, right? The results are consistent and high quality. So the goal of UL 9540 was really to eliminate poorly integrated systems that are unsafe or underperforming from the market. And we know that a lot of companies have released products over the years that were, bleeding edge, and some of them have caused problems, right? And so UL 9540 is specific to energy storage, home energy storage. So UL 9540 is designed to prevent future issues from happening, such as fires and other unsafe conditions, or frankly just underperforming. So performance specs that did not live up to expectations. The 2018 California Building Code adopted this standard from the International Residential Code, IRC. And so technically California has been on paper requiring this certification for some time. However, it's only really been within the last year or so that the enforcement has picked up, and especially in regards to the self-generation incentive program. So we're seeing a expansion of the enforcement of UL 9540 in California. It is worth noting that California may be the first to adopt this, but Hawaii, New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts all plan on adopting this UL 9540 certification very soon, and we expect other states and other markets to follow shortly behind. So California first, then we got Hawaii, New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts, and eventually we expect more and more states and more AHJs, frankly, to start enforcing this requirement. And it is specific to energy storage systems. So it's not, this doesn't apply to non-battery based PV systems at all. Another benefit of UL 9540 is when you put this UL 9540 stamp, and it doesn't have to be UL, so you can get a 9540 certification from Intertech or other labs. UL, is sort of the go-to name, but UL 9540 is available through other labs as well. But when you put that stamp on there, as this is a complete listed home energy storage system, we found that it really expedites project permitting and approval. So it makes it easier for installers and their customers to get their projects from point A to point B with the AHJ and get the interconnection agreement set up. And we want to iterate that OutBack has taken proactive steps to achieve UL 9540. There are a lot of products on the market that are still not UL 9540 certified, and they are, they're being installed in areas where enforcement hasn't fully kicked in yet. But it's really only a matter of time, and short time at that, before this becomes a pretty widespread requirement. And it's kind of snuck up, I think, on a lot of folks, but we started our UL 9540 testing over a year ago, and we've pulled the certification for a number of solutions, and we're continuing to expand our solutions that comply with this rule. Now, this slide digs into that a bit. It may only be required in certain jurisdictions, such as anywhere covered by the California Building Standards Commission, and Hawaii, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, etc. It applies to the inverter, the battery, and the battery management system in a residential energy storage system. This should say battery enclosure. I guess the word battery here is not only the battery itself, but the enclosure that contains and protects the battery from environmental conditions. For many lithium-ion batteries, for example, the lithium-ion battery and its enclosure are one and the same. There is really no differentiation there, right? It's a single pack unit. However, with other battery chemistries, which will be available for UL 9540, the battery and the battery enclosure will need to be tested together. So from the code itself, the systems covered by the standard include those intended to be used in the standalone mode, islanded, including self-supply systems to provide electric energy, and those used in parallel with an electric power system or utility grid, such as grid supply. So really, this statement means that this standard applies to both off-grid and grid-tied systems. There have been, certain codes over the years didn't really apply to off-grid systems, and or they did on paper, but in many cases that wasn't it wasn't enforced. But because this is a building standards code, this is a residential building code standard. It very specifically applies to any home energy storage system, whether it's grid tied or not. And I'd like to take a moment here to launch a quick poll, just to ask for these regulatory webinars. I think it makes sense to find out if you have installed projects or dealt with projects, sold projects, installed projects, dealt with projects that required UL 9540. I'm curious to see the amount of folks on here that have had to deal with UL 9540. So please drop your answer in there, and we'll I'll make sure to share the final count. While we're waiting for the tally here, recently I've been doing this poll with things like arc fault requirements, the new arc fault requirements, and usually that came out to about 50-50. So 50% or so were dealing with arc fault requirements, 50% or so were not. So far today, this is overwhelmingly no. So literally 94% of votes just now went no, and 6% went yes. Very interesting results. I'll go ahead and close this, and we'll move forward. I think what that means is that, my professional opinion here is that since this is only in California as of now, and we're expecting enforcement to really start in earnest in 2020. I would bet that in about 6 months, if we ran that poll again, it would probably be closer to 25-75. But remains to be seen. But building code enforcement is usually pretty strict, so we do expect UL 9540 to become a significant standard moving forward. Let's go to the next slide. So why OutBack and EnerSys? Well, we wanted to include this slide just for anybody who's on the call that hasn't heard the news. OutBack was recently acquired by a very large, one of the largest top 3 in the world battery companies, based in Reading, Pennsylvania. It's a large publicly traded company called EnerSys, and it puts us in a great position for a single brand UL 9540 solution that we are working on. EnerSys is the global leader in stored energy solutions with over 110 years of experience. They've been around since the beginning of the 20th century, and OutBack has a very strong brand name in advanced off-grid and grid interactive battery-based systems since 2001. So it's a great combination for a single brand UL 9540 solution for both off-grid and advanced grid-tied solutions. This is our current listing that is available now, and we've been selling this for close to a year now, about 9 months. The declaration of conformity out here on the left states that our IBR battery rack with the Simplify 3.5 and 3.8 kilowatt hour battery models are certified as UL 9540 as a UL 9540 system when used with any OutBack UL 1741 SA inverter. So that includes the Radian, the OutBack Radian, the Skybox, and the FXRs that are 1741 SA. So just one more time, battery rack plus simplified battery plus OutBack inverter is a UL 9540 system at this time. That is a current standard and listing. And we'll get to questions at the end. Since it's only a 30-minute webinar, I want to make sure we get through all the material, and I will make sure to answer questions at the end. So thank you. Please go ahead and drop your questions in as we go. Moving on to the next section here, we'll talk a little bit more about specifics on UL 9540 systems. So OutBack is the only brand, as far as I know, OutBack is the only brand with UL 9540 options for both grid tie and off-grid in DC and AC coupled applications. So we cover any intersection of those four applications, right? Grid tie, AC coupled, grid tie DC coupled, off-grid DC coupled, off-grid AC coupled, because of the versatility of our products. So if you're looking for a single brand solution where you can cover that all of those applications and their combinations, here's a table of what we offer, right? So we have our flex power radiant systems with the battery enclosure shown on the last section and the simplified batteries. All the VFXR and FXR inverters with the same battery rack, same batteries, the Skybox, and then of course the AC coupled radiant and AC coupled Skybox. So whether it's DC coupled or AC coupled doesn't affect the UL 9540 listing, because UL 9540 is specific to the interaction between the battery rack, the battery enclosure, the battery, and the inverter itself. Just a moment here to soak in this table, and this recording will be sent out to everybody after the webinar. For folks joining, we've had probably a good 20 or 30 folks join since the webinar started. We're talking about UL 9540, which is the new home energy storage system certification, and I ran a poll a bit ago that indicated that almost 95% of folks on this webinar have not had a UL 9540 required installation yet, but I expect that will change in the coming years. Oh, I do have a really good question here that's worth answering right now, and it's a really good point. This slide does need a tweak. So the question was, is it only flex power radiant systems that are UL 9540 certified? No, any radian, whether it's AC coupled or DC coupled, is UL 9540 certified. Any new UL 1741 radian. So what this really should have is an additional row that says all radian installation. So it's not just the flex power, it's flex power, radian, FXR and VFXR, Skybox, and any AC coupled radian and AC coupled Skybox. And anybody who's interested, the AC coupled Skybox firmware was just released this week, so keep an eye out for that. If you've been waiting for that, it is available now, and it is UL 9540 certified. All right, so here are a couple System Edge packages. For folks who are familiar with System Edge packages, it's basically our single SKU packages that come at a special price because they're single SKU, and they come with the energy storage component included. So you have the Flex Power Radian System Edges with Simplify, as well as the Skybox with Simplify System Edge packages, and these come UL 9540 certified. The battery rack itself has the UL 9540 label and sticker, indicating it's actually an ETL, an Intertext sticker, but the label and the sticker indicate the UL 9540 certification, and those come on the battery rack itself. So there will be a label for an inspector to check to indicate that this is indeed a UL 9540 system. And of course, that's backed up by the Declaration of Conformity and respectively the test report for UL 9540. Quick a bit about System Edge. The idea here, and I think we added this slide, we included this slide from the System Edge material because it especially applies to UL 9540, where you have a customer asking, oh, what can I combine to make sure that my system complies with UL 9540 so I don't have any issues with inspection. That's the customer asking, what do I need? And if you don't have a single brand solution, right, you're going through all the different options and configurations and what they cost, and it can be very time consuming. Whereas a System Edge, it's like, hey, we have 4 packages that of different sizes and capabilities, whether you want, time of use metering, self-consumption, etc., and their prices, and they're UL 9540 certified. So it helps narrow down the choices. It helps narrow down that sales conversation with a homeowner who, for the vast majority of homeowners, although this particular certification only applies to residential homes, will probably not, most homeowners will probably not be familiar with what UL 9540 is, and will probably not want to dig into the specifics. So we want to make it easy with, by calling out these 4 systems that are UL 9540 certified. So like we said, any combination of Simplify and our inverters on our battery rack is UL 9540, but to keep it very straightforward, we also created these 4 packages that are UL 9540 packages. So you have the Skybox with either 15 kilowatt hours of storage or 22 kilowatt hours of storage, and you have the FlexPower Radians with 15 kilowatt hours of storage and 22 kilowatt hours of storage. These new System Edges also come with the FlexMax 100 AFCI, the new charge controller, which has AFCI built in. So this is a great system for they're all 4 great systems for complying with all of the latest regulations. So any installation that's going to be demanding in regards to permitting, all 4 of these systems are a good bet. I do also want to talk about what we have coming up. And we're in the middle of testing a number of configurations. So very specifically, the next listing that we'll release will be the Skybox with Energy Cell 200 PLR. So that's our sealed the PLR battery, the sealed PLR battery, which is a great backup battery. So the PLR battery is it's designed for a long float life, and it's great for backup applications, for emergency backup applications, as well as our new Northstar Blue Plus batteries. Northstar is another EnerSys company, so we are all part of the same organization. And the Blue Plus batteries are really advanced sealed lead acid batteries with a high cycle life, really good value. And this is actually going to be the first UL 9540 listing in the world with lithium-free, and I'm tongue-in-cheek here, lithium-free batteries. There are still a lot of advantages to lithium ion batteries, of course, but we want to make sure that for still a very large chunk of the home energy storage market is using traditional lead acid batteries, and so OutBack will be the first company with a UL 9540 listing on those. We've been meeting with UL 9540 just this week to finalize the test plan, and we'll be proceeding with that in January to get the certification out as early as possible next year, so that folks can start installing UL 9540 systems with 200 PLRs and Blue Plus. I also want to point out for everybody that's in California or willing to travel to California, Brighton, it's still, it's middle of December, but it's probably warmer than most of the rest of the U.S. right now, so it might be worth a weekend visit. We have one-day System Edge installation and commissioning workshops coming up in January, so on the 21st and the 23rd in Sacramento and Thousand Oaks. I put these links in here because when I created this PowerPoint, these weren't posted on our website. However, now if you go to outbackpower.com and you go to the training section under resources, you will find the registrations for these one-day workshops. And I believe they're only $50, so that's pretty good for a whole day of training. That includes, snacks and lunch. So highly recommend, if you're available, getting out there, because all of our System Edge packages are new. We have all the new Skybox packages, all the new FlexMax 100 with AFCI packages. So it's worth a refresher on commissioning. And the workshops will focus not on just commissioning the System Edge as a package, but commissioning each component within the System Edge. So just a quick summary here before we get to any last questions. Why UL 9540? Complete peace of mind for homeowners, customers, and to break that down into pieces, right? Into why this provides complete peace of mind. Well, it demonstrates commitment to safety and performance, consumer confidence in the product, and fast permitting and approval. All of which help decrease SOX costs for over the short term and the long term, in regards to less maintenance, higher performance, less permitting costs, and we think it's going to be a valuable addition to the industry as it rolls out, and OutBack is making sure to stay at the crest of that UL 9540 wave, so to speak. So I do have one question. Anybody who has questions, please write them in. I have one new question. We had a couple questions come in that were answered through the course of the presentation, but one that was interesting is a question that you were acquired but still keeping the OutBack name. So yes, OutBack Power is now the brand for all renewable technology out of EnerSys. So OutBack Power is an EnerSys brand for all of our renewable energy technology. And we're keeping the Energy Cell brand as well for batteries. If we have no other questions, I'll be happy to wrap up this webinar early today and let everybody get back to preparing for the holidays. Let's see, we have a question. Is EnerSys developing a lithium-ion battery solution? I don't have any specific information on that whatsoever, but yes, we are developing a lithium-ion battery solution. Will OutBack remain in Washington? Another good question. Currently, yes. OutBack has no plans to move anywhere else. Alpha Technologies is still our direct parent company. So EnerSys purchased Alpha Technologies, and OutBack is part of Alpha Technologies, and Alpha is still based in Bellingham, Washington. We're still manufacturing all of our equipment here in Washington, so we have no plans to move out of Washington State anytime soon. Okay, we got another couple questions rolling in here. Is DOE looking at implementing this nationwide? Not that I know of. Department of Energy. We expect it to roll out state by state. Since it's a residential building code requirement, and it's not really tied in with the NEC at this point. It hasn't been tied in with the NEC yet. We expect it to roll out state by state. That said, NEC 2020, the initial draft versions for the next NEC iteration do indicate that they plan to sort of separate the PV system from the energy storage system. So we may see a lot of the verbiage or the requirements of UL 9540 included in the new NEC code. And maybe the new NEC code will even just sort of directly require UL 9540 for new systems. Another question, will this affect past installed systems? No, any system that's grandfathered in should not affect it. When it comes to like adding energy storage to a existing PV system, that's always something that should be discussed with the AHJ. In theory, this would apply to systems that are retrofit adding energy storage, but any system that's already permitted and approved and has its own interconnection agreement, this will not apply. It's only for new systems. Also, a little clarification on the lithium-ion battery. Basically, EnerSys already has lithium-ion batteries for their other markets. So if you look up EnerSys Nexion, it's Nexion. It's a really slick lithium-ion battery for the motive power industry. So that's industrial vehicles like forklifts and other industrial vehicles. And we plan on having a renewable, a lithium-ion battery for renewables in the near future. So thank you all for joining. I think that's all the questions that we got today. And thank you for the great feedback, everybody. We'll make sure to get this recording out to everybody that's on here and everybody that registered. And please check out our website to sign up for the trainings. All right. Happy holidays.